always been interested to see how English audiences would react to Gasperini, because he's a fascinating character. There's bits of Mourinho with him. He falls out with players all the time. He's a nasty bastard with the press. Like, he just blacks out on them.
Yeah.
He's prickly. Opposition. Every single other club in Italy despises him. It's because of his personality.
Yeah.
I'd be really interested to see how he got on in England. I mean, Alex Ferguson inquired about him becoming his number 2 in 2009.
Really?
Like, yeah, he was, and with a view to him then potentially succeeding him when Ferguson made his first retirement. That was Gasperini was the guy that he kind of picked out, but Gasperini was at Genoa at the time, was building something. It would be really interesting to see where they come in the Premier League. I think they would either. I don't think there'd be any middle ground. I think they'd either potentially get relegated or they'd finish 5th or 6th. I don't think there's no kind of median there, I think.
Yeah, it's a team of extremes, isn't it? Like, from what I do know about them, it is a team of extremes. But I didn't even know that about Gasperini, and I'm a United fan, so that's interesting. But what if Gasperini did take over Man United, and let's say he took over from 2012-13, where do you think United would be under him?
Honestly, I love Gasperini. I think he's the best Italian, I wouldn't say manager, but tactician to come out of Italy in the last decade. I don't think people respect him enough. However, I don't think he's a coach who would do well at a big club. So he had an experience with Inter Milan in 2011.
Yep.
He was their 8th choice, and he lasted 5 matches because he wanted to play. He's always wanted to play 3-4-3 and have a team built up of older players without any ego, that they will just do the dog work for whatever he wants them to do. Does that sound like Man United to you? Not exactly.
No.
Imagine this is the Inter team who they'd won the treble with Mourinho. Mourinho had left, and then they had a season with Rafa Benitez, which in itself was kind of damaging.
Yeah.
They then brought this fiery, kind of older manager in who wants to play 3-4-3 but has Eto'o sold from underneath him. Schneider doesn't play in a 3-4-3. You've got their centre backs were Lucio Zanetti and Christian Kivu, old, slow, not able to play a high line and kind of play that high offside line that Gasperini wants to play. It was a disaster, and he ended up kind of playing a bit with a 4 at the back, but that's never been his way. So it was a disaster. He definitely should have been given more than 5 matches. That's insane.
Yeah.
But he was given 5 matches and he was sacked brutally. And I feel like that sort of thing has probably harmed his chance of ever getting a big club again. And I think he's kind of all right with that. He's a project manager. He's someone who wants time. His 3 best spells have been in 2 with Genoa, where he's had about 5 years total, and Atalanta, where he's been there for nearly 6 years. Again, it just doesn't sound like Man United, and it would have been fascinating to see him at Man United. It would have been absolute to see him, whether he would have gone down demanded absolute dogs in midfield rather than luxury players. That was the summer David Moyes went after Thiago and Fabregas. Gasperini would not have been going after those guys. He'd have been going after workhorses. So,
well, I wish we have them now. To be fair, we could do with a couple of workhorses in that United midfield. But I love Fred. I'll say it right now. I actually adore that man. But wait, so when Gasperini when he was being touted with the job, who rejected who then? Did Gasperini reject the second in charge role at United when Fergie was still there?
It's kind of unknown. From what I gather, it was that Ferguson went over to watch Genoa, and this would have been the time when I think Carlos Queiroz would have left his role as the number 2.
Yeah, because he went to Real Madrid, didn't he?
Yeah, that would have been about that time, about 2009. And I believe there was some. I don't think it was a hard offer, but I believe some inquiries were made from Ferguson. But Gasperini was, whether he even saw them get to the table or whether they were just from the Man United side without actually putting the question forward, I'm not sure. But I mean, if you saw the way the Inter job went literally a year later, I don't think that would have. It probably wasn't right for him.